Oh,
Got it?
okay, hold on. I was like, wait. Okay, thank you for joining us. Today we are talking about how we in our home to release blocked feminine energy. I am one of the sisters of Sisterly Suggestions. I am Dominique, and I'm here with Quintella. Christiane is another one of our sisters here at Sisterly Suggestions. She's on her healing journey, and she is doing great. So thank you for your prayers, everyone.
So if you're unfamiliar with what this channel is even about, Sisterly Suggestions is a blog that helps women embrace their femininity and increase their attraction through self-care.
Yes, yes. And so today we bring you our final monthly live and article from Sisterly Suggestions. So we've been on this journey for quite a while. So there's tons of content out there on sisterlysuggestions.com. But we are closing this chapter of our lives, and we hope that the content has helped you grow in your femininity, your as much it has helped us as we shared our learnings and our experiences with you.
Definitely. Thank you for your support.
So today, let's go ahead and dive into how do we make space in our home to release Black feminine energy? I would love to know what you personally do. If you're watching us live or if you're watching us later, still drop your answer in the comments because we can all learn from each other. How do you make space in your home to release Black feminine energy? As for myself, I get a visual of the goal that I have. So what does that mean? So when I think about my office, how is it that I want to feel in my office? And we all have different goals, but I want to feel productive. So what that means for me is that I'm going to reduce visual clutter. I'm not going to have all these knickknacks and cute little things on the desk. I'm not going to have my degrees plastered on the wall and like my visual space, because my goal there is to focus on the task at hand. So that's what I'm going to do. Or if I think about how I would like my living room to be, hypothetically, if I want my living room to be full of laughs and conversations and a spot for game nights, then I don't want to design my space in a way where the TV is the focal point. When the TV is the focal point, that's more of a living room space where movies are a priority, watching football games or something like that. So really think about how you visualize your space and then design in that way so that everything can flow. So here's a tip. How do you do that? So read some design magazines, or Google them, read the articles, or pick a few feng shui techniques that you want to incorporate. For example, I recently read that you shouldn't have something hanging over your bed, like a shelf or a bookcase, or even like a large canvas, because it can subconsciously cause you stress. That one really resonated with me, and that's a feng shui technique that I will put into practice in my own bedroom. So yeah, so that's what I do to allow flow in my home and to release some of that Black feminine energy. What about you, Quinn?
Hey, that was dope. All right. Because that was actually really cool. Because while you were saying that, I was looking over at my living room, like, that's why. Because, like, honestly, in my head, I'm like, why every time when people come over, like, it doesn't flow as much as I was like we do just end up watching TV. And now I'm looking over and I'm like, all of my seated furniture is facing the TV. So I'm like, all right, got to change that up. And so that was really great. For me personally, I like that basically I have to set realistic expectations when it comes to making space in my home, just to have some sense of balance feminine energy. Because like I told y'all during the last live, sorry for the computer sounds. I told y'all during the last live that my lesson for this season is really learning to nurture myself before I nurture others. And a part of that, and the biggest part of this that I'm learning is self-compassion, and giving myself grace, like just on a day-to-day basis. And that is challenged when it comes to making space in my home and just maintaining the home, right? Like we know that is like its own section of your life, right? Like it's its own thing. There's like home, work, friends, but there's home, and that's the really large part, especially when you're a single woman like me. And so I realized that like with cleaning, I have to practice that same lesson. of self-compassion. And so when I have really high expectations of all that I want to clean in my house and my car, it just turns into frustration because that's just not what my body can do in this season. And that's the exact opposite of self-compassion. That's the exact opposite of grace. And so right now, kind of like starting off with having that goal in mind. So like, what type of living space am I going to be okay with living in if I can't do it all? And so I set like my bare minimum. And I'm learning to just celebrate small wins. And so keeping that realistic expectation of how much I can do in this moment, or how much I can get done without completely tiring myself out. Because I'm the type where I don't like maintaining the home to become its own job. Like I like to come home and rest. So I can only do bite-sized like amounts of cleaning. And I celebrate those small wins. And I'm also working on, in the same sense, I'm working on reframing my mindset around cleaning as like a gift for my future self. That was like a tip from a random book I had read, like through Reddit. They had recommended it for like people who have struggles with like the cleaning and maintaining cleaning without it being so frustrating. This is a huge concern. Clearly, I'm talking so much about it. But I like dive into this because like giving your self grace around making space in your home and maintaining the home, that does release Black feminine energy by itself. That releasing that control and giving yourself that like self-nurturing. And that's just been really important for me, especially in this season. And so,
yeah, and I just want to add on to that. One of the things that Christiana, the other sister of Sisterly Suggestions, that she does is she says, leave every room better than you left it. Excuse me. So this is actually outside of her office door. And so the concept for me, at least, is that even if you don't have an hour to go ahead and just deep clean this space, just make sure you don't make it worse.
Yeah,
if you bring a coffee cup in, take that coffee cup out, you know? I just really love that because it's just something simple that you can put into practice. Like when you enter this space, like just don't make it worse. Leave it better than you
for me. My like cleaning mantra is like everything has its place. So like after I'm like, it kind of helps me keep that like saying. Yeah, so it's like after I'm done using something, I'm gonna put it right back where it is, so that way when I leave the space, it looks exactly as when I came in. When I go to bed, my house looks exactly as when I first woke up. So I love that. I love that. I gotta get that poster because I like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being on this journey with us, and I'm sure our paths will connect again. Because I am Dominique on Instagram as Meatless Maven. What about you, Quinn?
Hi, you can feel free to. I have okay, so
just choose one. Just choose one.
Follow me. We're gonna do TikTok, right? If you find me on TikTok, you'll find me on everything else. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram actually at Quinn QUIN .C_. I know it's a lot of little punctuations, but it has a theme when you see all the rest of my pages. So yeah, Quinn with one N. Thank you so much for being on this self-care journey with us. I hope y'all enjoyed today's live. So
yes. Bye. Thanks for rocking with